It is June, which means the calendar is screaming at you. Jack's Place in Ohio.
Yes.
The World Cup about to light up North America.
Yes.
And we've got 2 championships. The NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup Final. This is the Spread Zone, and we want to make you money. My name is Riz. As always, with me, Anthony Stalter, Tim McKernan. Boy, fellas, we got some stuff to talk about this week.
I'm telling you.
Well, I do want to start off on a kind of a side note, because the big NFL news this week was Myles Garrett being traded from the Browns and going to the Rams, which, if you're a betting person, if you've been paying attention, the Rams just shot up and became the favorites to win the Super Bowl. I think they are, let me see here, the Rams are now plus 550 to win the Super Bowl and plus 300 to win the NFC. So if you're looking to throw some money down on FanDuel, of course, because we are sponsored by FanDuel, a wise move to maybe throw it down now, maybe just NFC champs. Would you be willing to put some money down for a Super Bowl championship?
Yeah, they were already considered to be one of the most dangerous teams, and then you add Myles Garrett. I mean, that puts it at another level, Riz.
Well, and there's some chatter too that Aaron Donald
may come out of retirement.
Too. So you could see an Aaron Donald, remember when Rob Gronkowski came out of retirement?
Yeah, he was fresh.
To join Tampa Bay when Tom Brady was down there. That was the Super Bowl that they won in Tampa Bay. Riz at 550, which I'm confirming now, that's still the number.
Yeah.
I would throw it down.
That's what I did. I heard the news and I went right to my FanDuel app and went
immediately. Yeah.
Throw a couple bucks down.
So if you think about it, the Seahawks dominated last year because of a stout pass rush, among other things. The year before, Philadelphia harassed Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl. In fact, the 2 Super Bowls that Mahomes has lost has been because his offensive line couldn't protect him. So the Rams, recognizing that they've got a good defense but not a great defense, they counter with Myles Garrett. They throw a Hall of Famer on that defensive line. And if Donald does come out of retirement, they've got everything they need, as long as Matthew Stafford stays healthy.
Think about Myles Garrett now. Even if he didn't take another snap in his career, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Now we're recording this in St. Louis, and we have a thing with Stan Kroenke and Les Snead. But man, you got to give it to them. These guys want to win, and they will do anything it takes to win. The Super Bowl is in Los Angeles next year.
Jeez. Yeah, it kind of lines up, doesn't it? And the Seahawks, they were plus 1,100. I doubt that they're gonna repeat. They've got some transition. They lost Gary Kubiak, the offense coordinator, that now goes to the Raiders as the head coach. Baltimore plus 1,100. Buffalo plus 1,100. They're always intriguing because of Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, respectively. Patriots at plus 1,600. I don't think there's any way. Even after adding A.J. Brown,
yeah.
I think the hangover for the loser in the Super Bowl is real. And then you kind of a mixed bag. The Chargers at plus 1,600. Chiefs at plus 1,700. Depends on Mahomes.
Yeah, the Giants added some offense this week as well.
Yeah, blast from the past with OBJ.
Beckham and then Juju Smith-Schuster, right, went over.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I know you're a Giants guy.
It wouldn't move it for you, but
no. I'll tell you want a long shot right now?
Right now, it is June.
Quarterback played horribly in the playoffs last year. Horribly. But they've got the best defense in the league. Anybody?
Are we talking Drake May?
Nope. Houston Texans.
Oh, yeah.
Plus 2,000. Yeah. Plus 2,000. I mean, C.J. Stroud. And Drake May did play horribly in this.
He did, yes.
Yeah.
But C.J. Stroud, horrendous in that loss to the Patriots. The team was still in it because of that defense.
Yeah.
So plus 2,000. Again, C.J. Stroud's got a lot to atone for. But, I mean, we're trying to make money here, Riz, as you often say.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe throw something down on Rams, either winning the Super Bowl or at least winning the NFC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know what let's see what their conference odds are.
300, plus 300.
Plus 300, you're still getting plus odds. I'll take it.
I'll take it as well. Mm-hmm. All right, Tim, I think it's time to talk golf.
Yep.
And we've got a big one this weekend. All right, is it Muirfield Village?
Yep.
It's Nicholas Country.
Jack's Place.
Big trees, thick rough, and those greens that look like they were designed by someone who hates you personally.
Yep.
So it's the Memorial Tournament, a signature event with a 72-player field, and because it's a player-hosted signature event. Now, am I reading this right, Tim? The cut is pretty nasty. 36-hole cut to the top 50 in ties, plus anyone within 10 shots of the lead.
Yep. It is a signature event, so you will have a great field. Rarely in a non-major do we see both Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy participating, but that is what we have in Ohio this week. For the record, Scheffler at plus 310 to win.
The two-time defending champ going
That's
for
correct. Looking for 3 in a row. Rory McIlroy at plus 1,200. And then the non-Scheffler Rory favorite is Ludwig Aubert, who is at plus 1,500. When it comes to winning this event, it is hard for me to ignore getting 3-1 on my money with Scottie Scheffler, considering A, his talent level, B, the fact that he's played really well this year, but hasn't won outside of the Amex back in January. So I think there might be a perception that he's not playing great in 2026, but he has a bunch of second-place finishes, and he has been lurking. This is his spot, plus 310. I love it. I realize it's chalky as all get out. So I want to provide a mid-tier play and then a long shot play. The mid-tier play is Matt Fitzpatrick, who is in the mix to win this thing in 2024 and wound up finishing tied for 5th. And then last year, he was struggling up until the final day where he shot 4 under, which was the best score on Sunday, minus Ludwig Aubert. He played really well there. He plays well here, and he has been playing some of the best golf around in 2026. Matt Fitzpatrick is plus 2,200 to win, and a guy I've been all over. He was 1 stroke away from the top last week. He continues to lurk. He was the leader going into Sunday on the PGA Championship. He's not a household name, but he lurks. Alex Smalley is plus 4,500 to win.
He was our guy last week.
He was our guy last week. Him and Ricky Fowler. Fowler didn't do it. Smalley was right there.
How did Fowler wind up?
He imploded on the back nine to not make the cut on Friday.
I was watching the leaderboard all weekend, and I did not see him up there.
That's because they decided to send him home for not making the cut on Friday. But he was in the mix, and then he just fell apart on the back nine on Friday. So with that established, another thing about Smalley, here is a play if you want a little short-term injection of dopamine. He is plus 4,000 to be your first-round leader. He really enjoys starting strong, tends to have some problems on the weekend. So plus 4,000 on Smalley to be your first-round leader. And then overall, if you wanted to do a little hedging with some top 10 action, Alex Smalley is plus 300 to finish in the top 10. Fitzpatrick is plus 165 to finish in the top 10. These are the two guys outside of the obvious one that I hate giving, but I can't ignore it. Scottie Scheffler, that I like this weekend going into the Memorial.
Can I give you a fade?
Sure, I'll take anything.
Cam Young. Everybody's saying fade him. Apparently, he doesn't have a great history at this.
It's interesting.
Course.
That's interesting because he's been playing some.
Sports Lines models calling for him to not even crack the top 5.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wonder what it is about this course that he's had.
Apparently, his history is a big red flag.
Yeah. The thing is with Cam Young is he's a totally different golfer ever since bringing on the new caddy, who is his roommate at Wake Forest and is a wizard at reading greens. So I don't know how much course history is relevant. Because so much of it is his putting improvement as of late. Just like Fitzpatrick this time last year was a bit of a mess, and then he got it right on Sunday at Jack's Place and then surged into the Ryder Cup about 3 months later. So with that established, Scheffler's so obvious, but you are getting 3-1 on your money if he is to win. Smalley, long shot, and then Fitzpatrick. Those are my plays.
Boys, if I may, what about a Xander Schauffele?
You like Xander?
5 top 10 finishes in his last 9 starts. Elite tee to green consistency. Excellent history on difficult scoring courses. Strong course history at this course. Doesn't need putting spike to contend. What do you think?
Xander was in the mix last year, wound up shooting 3 over on Sunday. Otherwise, he could have been there to win the thing. He was 4 under par going into Sunday last year, and then just for whatever reason, not really his brand, fell apart on Sunday, and that opened the door for Scheffler and Colin Morikawa down the stretch with Scheffler winning it. So Schauffele has been in the mix here before, as you noted, Anthony.
I'll give you 2 picks.
Yep.
Give me Russell Henley at plus 2,000.
Fresh off a win.
A lot of models are high on Henley. High on Henley. Precision fairways, not giving away doubles. at this particular golf course. Who's good? I guess got a good history here. And then give me my second ticket is a Scheffler top 10
Okay.
to kind of hedge my bet a little bit.
Yeah. Minus three something.
350.
350 on that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's plus 310 to win. So the top 10 will be juiced. But in a survive the cut, survive the course week, I think I want the high floor exposure. So Russell Henley to win at plus 2,000. Scheffler top 10 at minus 350.
Russell Henley was in the top 10 last year and coming off a win in a playoff over Eric Cole this past week.
All right. Anything else on the Memorial?
That'll do
Covered
it. That'll do it.
Hey, fellas, we're going to take a break. When we come back, it's World Cup futures. That's right. It's World Cup soccer time, Tony.
Well, man.
Are we getting Tony or Anthony?
You get Anthony. Yeah.
All right. It is the Spread Zone, sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. All right. Scene 2 on the Spread Zone, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. World Cup in North America. We've got the opening match a week from tomorrow. We're recording this on Wednesday at noon. Mexico City, Estadio Azteca, the kind of building that shakes when the crowd decides it's time. World Cup is the biggest ever. 48 teams. Again, starts next Thursday. More teams mean more chaos, which means future betting has to be, we'll say, portfolio and not vibes here. So let's talk about the favorites. Fellas, who's the favorite to win the World Cup in 2026?
Full transparency, you teased it, and I went and looked. I need to recuse myself and turn this over to Anthony.
So I did guess Brazil.
Brazil? No, they're fourth.
Okay. Spain.
Spain
Nicely
is
done.
correct.
Spain?
Nicely done.
Spain is correct.
I'll take the second play on that.
So here is my
Plus 440.
World Cup futures card. 3 tickets, 3 different purposes. So my pick number 1 is France to win. France to win at plus 450.
Okay.
If the price is still on that, 450 to plus, 550-ish neighborhood, depending on market movement, I'm in. And then my pick number 2 was Mexico to reach the round of 16 at plus 125. This is the kind of futures bet that doesn't require you to predict the entire tournament, just a clean group stage and one more step. And then my long shot sprinkle at plus 1,000 is for Argentina to win.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Okay. I like it.
So that is my long shot sprinkle. And we could talk. Let me go open up my FanDuel Sportsbook app. And we could talk about the Golden Boot. We could talk about a bunch of different things, a bunch of different bets to make on the World Cup.
Well, while you're doing that, the reason why I was kind of looking at Brazil is because they are a traditional power that tends to do quite well. Odds we get plus 800, so they're longer than Spain and France. They got the elite attacking talent. I think they got a pretty favorable group stage draw. And historically, again, one of the stronger World Cup performers. So give me Brazil plus 800. Brazil.
And we could do, Tim, who you backing in the World Cup this year?
I am going to go with the favorite Spain.
It's Spain.
Yeah.
Now, I'm surprised none of us took the United States of America.
It is the holy grail for me as a sports fan to see the United States compete for the World Cup. I guess the closest in our lifetimes anyway, 2002 controversial no call on a handball against Germany. And then the U.S. would wind up losing 1-0. But
we do have women's, though.
Got that. Yeah, the old 99ers, and then many since.
Dominant.
But yeah, God, I would love to see that, especially here in the United States. I was taking a look at the U.S. numbers for this, and they have Australia, Turkey, in their group, and Riz, this is something that I realize people would love to see. People were talking about this too, that this doesn't have the buzz of 1994. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think what has caused people to think that is that the prices were so inflated and the market isn't meeting those prices. But I don't think that's an illustration of a lack of enthusiasm for the World Cup.
Are you talking about ticket sales?
Ticket prices and hotels and cities.
It's the dynamic pricing.
Right.
It's pricing people out of buying tickets.
And that wasn't going on
when
hotel
it was here in
sales,
94. I know our sister city here, Kansas City, hotel sales are soft.
Yes, compared to where they thought they were going to be.
Softer than what they thought it was going to be. But I think as we get closer, I think people are going to start snatching up tickets.
So they don't know why after trying to gouge everybody.
That's right.
They're pretending
sales
they
are
don't
down.
know why.
Yeah.
It's this whole dynamic pricing thing. And if you don't know what that is, it's the more popular an event is, they jack up the prices.
Yeah.
And it's pricing people. The top ticket sold, I think, for one of the World Cup matches was $29,000 for a ticket. You're not getting in for less than $450 a ticket.
Our good friend.
Why are people not going, huh?
Yeah, right. And then they do it on a smaller scale, too. So our good friend Kerry Davis, who played for the Illinois Fighting Illini and does the color commentary on their broadcast, he said that when, I don't think it was Ohio State that came to town. It was one of the bigger Big Ten teams, though. Couldn't get a hotel room for less than about $1 million.
Less than $1 million.
It's just, I mean, people, they just gouge you.
People would rather go see their favorite team play at a watch party. Mm-hmm. Have a couple cheap beers.
Yeah.
And throw in a USA scarf and cheer them on.
Yep.
Another great bet, I think, would be for the USA to come out of the Group D in the first position at plus 125. I think that's not a bad bet either.
Yeah.
I like it.
I wonder about that.
You're also talking the Golden Boot. You're talking, which is the biggest goal scorer of the World Cup. And you're also talking the Golden Ball winner, which is the player of the tournament award. I'm taking Mbappé for both. Yeah, it's chalk, but Mbappé plus 600 for the Golden Boot, which is most scores in the tournament, and the Golden Ball plus 650 for Mbappé.
I like it.
Anything else on the World Cup, gentlemen?
No, sir.
Again, tournament gets going a week from tomorrow.
Can't wait. Love the World Cup.
We will take our final break. We'll come back and we'll talk NHL
Let's do it.
and NBA.
Yeah, we got some recapping to do too, gentlemen.
It is the Spread Zone presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. All right, welcome back to the Spread Zone, sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. So, Anthony, we're talking NHL, we're talking NBA Finals. So, there was the first game of the NHL Finals, Stanley Cup Finals, last night. Great game where Vegas wound up taking game number one. Game two is tomorrow. But do you want to start with the NBA first, or you want to start with the NHL?
No, we could start. You brought up Vegas and Carolina. So if everybody remembers correctly, last week I said, hey, we're lining up Vegas. We don't care if it's Carolina. We thought it was going to be Carolina. So that series still hadn't been over yet between Carolina and Montreal, but for all intents and purposes it was. And I said, hey, let's line up Vegas. Let's line up Vegas to win the Stanley Cup. We were getting plus odds. I can't remember what the exact number was. Maybe plus 110 or plus 115 or something like that. I was shocked by that number because I thought Vegas was the team to beat. They take game one, which is fantastic. So if you followed along with us, you would have had Vegas as well in game one if you think, hey, they're going to win the series. Yeah. I thought I threw another Vegas play on there last week, but I can't.
Vegas in 5?
Maybe it was Vegas in 5. But I'm looking at
gentleman's sweep.
I'm looking at some of these numbers now. Vegas is still minus 150 to win it. They took game one. They're minus 150. I still think that's a decent price. So I would still buy it at that number. Now, again, you would have gotten a much better number last week. Vegas, 5 games. Actually, it's the entire series, excuse me. At 5 games, it's plus 280. At 6 games, it's plus 170. So you could double dip there, and as long as it finishes in 5 or 6 games, you will profit. You'll lose one play, but you'll get the other. And again, as long as your bets are the same, you will profit on whether the series goes 5 or 6. But there's no reason for me to jump off of Vegas after I said that they were going to take the series last week. So again, Vegas minus 150 to win the series, and Thursday night is the game 2 matchup. You can get plus 137 on Vegas right now. I would take that as well. I know it's difficult to win in that place in Carolina twice, but I just think Vegas is the better overall team coming into the series. And again, I said it last week.
You guys watched last night? It was a great game.
Classic. What a perfect way to start. I mean, you get a goal as quickly as they did at the outset. It looks like Carolina's going to run away with it. and that has to be awfully deflating. Logic dictates when the road team wins in game one, especially one of these high-pressure series like a conference final or Stanley Cup final / NBA final, that there is going to be a response by the home team in a major way. And I will be curious to see if we get what we would expect from Carolina or if Vegas is able to carry momentum from really stealing one in Raleigh in game one.
Vegas, they showed last night, Vegas is not going to wilt. They've got veteran presence.
Yeah.
They've got guys that have been there before. Carolina can obviously overwhelm a lot of opponents. I don't think they're going to do so with Vegas. Looked pretty bad when Carolina jumped up 2-0, but again, this is Vegas. This is a Vegas team that won't crack.
The big stat coming out of that, because I was watching, it was Vegas was down 2-0 in the first period. Before this game, road teams were 0-55 when down multiple goals at any point in the first game of Stanley Cup final.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Hey, you got that torts on the ice. A lot of hockey left. You're giving them away east-west, focus north-south. You're going to have your chances. Don't give anything away. Mm-hmm. The calming influence of the man with 8 regular season games coaching VGK, and he leads his boys to the comeback last night. That was impressive.
Boy, I'm really excited about the NBA Finals.
Yes, I know you are.
Your Knicks guy.
I am excited. You know, the Knicks coming in, 11-game winning streak. Mm-hmm. The Spurs coming off that very emotional Game 7 win.
Yeah.
Too emotional, perhaps, Reese? Is that what you're saying?
Emotional.
That's what you're setting the stage
I
for.
heard in his voice, Tim.
Yep, I respect
they were
that.
all crying as if they did win already, which I think.
You think that's a tell?
I think it's a tell. Fellas, you got a whole nother series to go. Now, mind you, the Eastern Conference was pretty weak.
Mm-hmm. It was. Cleveland, getting past Cleveland, not great. Some would argue, though, I mean, what San Antonio had Portland, I think, to start, and then a banged-up OKC team, but still, that's an OKC team that was clearly the favorite. So
I think a little too much emotion, to be honest with you. That's just me watching.
Yeah.
I like the emotion that you're now showing for your Knicks.
But okay, so what do you think? So game 1 is tonight.
Can't wait.
In San Antonio. Mm-hmm. What are you thinking?
Well, I do want to point out, because I was the guy that gave out.
Oh, did you give it? I was going to call attention to your play if you're going to go here.
Well, I was also the guy that gave out a pick in which I think it was the Atlanta Hawks against the Knicks.
It's in the past. This is
I
current.
think they lost by 80, and I want to humble myself.
I will live forever synonymously with Minwoo Lee, but it's in the past.
True.
We don't talk about
Minwoo Lee.
I said Wemby to win the NBA.
Yes, I was going to call attention to that.
Thank you, sir.
And what was the number you were giving out? Because when we were recording last week, they were down 3-2.
It was like plus 680 or something.
That's right. That's exactly right.
This is still in play.
And it's still in play. He's minus 165.
And I was about to say, the numbers have materially shifted now. Mm-hmm. But you give that, and you're like, okay, it's reasonable for them, of course, to win in San Antonio in Game 6.
Sure.
And if they do win Game 7, you're sitting there getting about 7-1 on your money.
Absolutely.
And if the Spurs win, who else is going to be MVP?
You're sitting pretty.
Yeah, I loved that play.
Well,
that was an astute play.
Tim, I appreciate the. Tim's an outstanding hype man, and
I'm the Flavor Flav of the spread zone.
Now, if the Knicks win, it's going to be Jalen Brunson,
right?
But I do like the Spurs in this series, not so much at minus 188. Remember, I gave out the Spurs, I think 2 weeks ago too, to win that series against OKC when they were down. And so things have lined up already. So it's like, if you had followed that advice, you're probably not doing much with the NBA Finals outside of sitting on that Wemby ticket. Mm-hmm. But at minus 188, obviously the value has been sucked out of it. If you're looking at game 1, I do like the Knicks at plus 4.5. I'll take.
I do like the Knicks too at plus 4.5.
Put it in the back pocket. It's a rest versus rust thing, but you're right. I mean, it's an emotional swing now for the Spurs who get past OKC. It's the very first finals night, and this Knicks team can match up with the Spurs outside of Wemby, because nobody can match up with Wemby. But they've got some physical. They got the physical presence of a couple of guys, including, Karl Anthony Towns, as well as,
by the way, plus 2,200
Mitchell Robinson
for Finals MVP.
You like a little dart there, I think. You like the cat.
He'd be the only other. It's either Brunson or Wemby, and then Karl Anthony Towns. So I see what you're going there, but I imagine that you're taking the Knicks plus 160.
Yes.
Might as well. And backing it up with a Brunson plus 195?
I think tonight's going to be the big tell.
You know what? I feel that way too. I don't feel that way about the Stanley Cup final, although I think when you come back from down 2-0 in the first period and another team's building, that could really do something. But yeah, I'll be anxious to see how these matchups go. You heard Hart talking about, I think they're going to have Wemby on me. That's a great compliment. Well, we'll see how it all plays out. Also of note, we were talking about in the Stanley Cup playoffs how a team comes off of a 7-game series against a team in a sweep, and only one team had been able to win in that spot. Well, now we actually see Carolina doing it against Montreal. They had the 7-game series, whereas Carolina had the sweep. In NBA Finals history, the data, relatively a small sample size, all things considered. In the NBA Finals, when a team that just played a grueling 7-game series, Spurs, faces a team that swept the previous series, the team coming off the sweep is 5-3. Riz, 5-3. So not like a demonstrative number. The most recent time we saw it, the Nuggets defeated the Heat in 23. That went 7 games. The Nuggets had swept their previous series and then defeated the Heat, who went 7 games in that one. And perhaps one of the most famous series in the 21st century, LeBron beating Curry a decade ago. The Cavs went 7 games to get there, and they beat the Warriors, who had swept their previous series. So the Knicks are sitting on the rest. The Spurs are having to go to Oklahoma City to win Game 7. And that's why I do value what we see tonight. Also, not just from momentum, but also from a matchup standpoint.
Give me your prediction.
I am going to take the Spurs. I hate to do it because I know you're emotionally invested.
It's only been since 1973.
I know. And here's the thing. I kind of want to see the Knicks win, but I have to say what I think is going to happen. I'm going to go Spurs in 5.
Spurs in 5.
A gentleman's.
Spurs in 7.
I think Knicks in 7.
Knicks go to San Antonio and do it in Game 7.
San Antonio.
That'd be like LeBron going to Oaktown and taking them down.
Although I'd love to see them win at the Garden.
I know. If I'm not financially invested, Knicks in 6 would be like optimal. You know what I mean?
Man, to see Game 3 at the Garden. Wow.
Enjoy it, Riz.
Yeah.
Enjoy your Knicks being in it.
I will. Gentlemen, I think that's the episode. Memorial, Jack's Place, World Cup Futures, 2 finals, everything through FanDuel. And always confirm the number when you bet. For Tim McKernan, Anthony Stalter, my name is Riz. This is the Spread Zone. Now let's make some money.
We provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm gambling regulations in your state of residence. To participate in sports gaming, you must be 21 years of age or older and be physically present in a state where sports betting is legal. If you or someone you know has a sports betting or gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org for more information and further assistance.